Okay, today I'll basically go over the basics of InDesign for layout. So most of the InDesign, most of the layout programs, let it be, even if you're making a website, right? You usually have a layout set, and you usually build that in what? Cascading style sheets, right? You make your CSS file and it make a layout, right? The other one would be is if you're using PowerPoint, you would use a master slide in PowerPoint. So in Illustrator, we call that a template. A template is where you could make a layout, and then every time you make a new artboard, it follows the template. Okay, so we use the word template in Illustrator. We use the word master here in this program as well. It's called a master. So to get started, you just can say File, New in InDesign, and then you'll see there are different ones here. You have Document, you got Book, you got Library. Under Document, you can click on that. It's going to ask you what kind of document you want. Remember, I was talking about doing things for EPUB. You can do that here, web or mobile kind of thing right here. Okay, so you can do print and so on. Right now I'm just doing print. Right now it says number of pages. You can put in as many as you want or just say 1 for right now. It doesn't matter. You can add more pages as you go along. The other interesting option right here at the very beginning is the facing page. Hold on. Yes? Okay, I'll call you back. I'm in class. Again, my wife is calling me in class. Holy hell. So sorry.
Hey Jeff, why did you choose document instead of book?
Where?
When you put new document instead of new book.
I don't know. I was thinking document would be a smaller run kind of thing, where a book is something that you do that's multiple pages. You could still do multiple pages. It's just, I'm only doing, a few pages, where a book would be a couple hundred pages, right?
But you can do a children's book, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm used to just,
You're right. It's probably harder to process for a machine.
Yeah.
Slower.
So let's talk about facing pages. So are you going to have facing pages or not? What is a facing page is, of course, when you open up a book, right, you have one on one side and one on the other. This is facing pages. If you're not going to have facing pages, turn this off. You just want one page at a time, right? I have no idea. It's a New Testament of somebody sitting over there.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I could read this. It's awful small. So if you're not going to use facing pages, I'm going to turn it off. For my proposal, I wouldn't probably not use that. If it's something that's going to be an article that people would read in a magazine, it's going to have something like that. But I'm going to turn it off. That's what facing pages is. The other thing you'll be confused about is the way that they measure things in this program. They use this pica kind of measuring kind of system right here. This is comes from traditional printing methods. Right now, if you just use letter, it's going to be 8.5 by 11 anyways. They do have a margin that goes around the outside, and it's a 1/2 inch margin. Okay, and then right now you're having one gutter, in the column is one big box. In the middle, if you want 2 columns, you could say 2 here. It'll put 2 columns, and the gutter is the space between the 2 columns. You don't have to do that, but if you're doing a 2-column layout, it's good to do that because stuff will snap to the edges of that, so you've got things lined up nicely. I'm just going to say 1 for right now. You can always go back and adjust these things later. So, you pretty much the default. The only thing I'd change was the facing pages. It gives you this. You could actually, if you wanted to also, and let me go back to that real quick. If you wanted, again, this kind of layout where it's more of a horizontal, right? More of a slideshow kind of thing this way. Do I want this or portrait or landscape? Either one. You'll see most of the proposals from my previous classes were in either one. Some are in portrait, some are in landscape. It just depends on the way you want it to be. Notice it has a margin, and again, that margin is a 1/2 inch. It's not a 1/4 inch like a lot of other programs would do. how this program works is that you make a master and you open up Pages. It's called Pages. If you don't see Pages, it's under Window Pages. And you'll notice here on Pages, you'll see there's one that says Master, None, and then A right here, 1. And what that is basically a way of, this is the first page. There's one page already there. What you want is you can make what we call a master. That master is basically a page that allows you to control the look of the pages. A lot of things, if you're going to use things over and over again on every page, you put it in the master. If it's something that's going to change, then you don't put it in the master, right? You don't want to put text in the master. You don't want to put, unless it's text that's going to be on every screen. You wouldn't put like a subtitle or that's going to change on each category in the master, because the master has to be on every page. So you really can't really do that. But you can, if you are doing things like subtitles and stuff, you can save those characteristics and then use them over and over again.
On one of the presentations that had a bar to kind of choose what part of the presentation you wanted to go to. Would you recommend that, or not really recommend it?
You could do that when you export out as a PDF. You can make yourself a table of contents that is a jumpable table of contents or PDF. You know what I'm saying? Where you have in a PDF where you can click and go to the specific page in a PDF. I think, yeah. Here, I'm not really sure up front. So again, this program kind of works like most of the other Adobe products. You got your basic tools over here. You got your selection tools. You got a page tool. You got a gap tool. You got a content collector tool. You got your type tool. You got a line tool. You got a pen tool. You got a pencil tool. You got your rectangle frame tool. You got a rectangle tool. The frame tool is different than a rectangle. The frame is for a picture. You put the picture in the frame. Where a rectangle is not, it's for making a rectangle. You got your cutter tool. You got your transform tool. If you're going to scale an image or scale anything, you use free transform. Okay, I know in Illustrator we usually use the black arrow selection tool and we click a box and scale it. It won't scale. It will change the size of the box, but the content that's in the box will not change size. If you want to change things that are inside a box and change size, you got to use this transform tool. Then we have gradient tools, and then we have feather gradient tools, and then we have notes, and then we have color themes, and so on. So these are the basics. So if I was going to, let's say I'm going to make a template that is my business template. I might design my logo in Illustrator first. So let's open up Illustrator and design my logo real quick. Just like the cooking channel, I've already designed some logos already. Let's look at those already. So here they are. So I quickly made myself my Raskoff Media, because that's the name of my website. And so I came up with a bunch of different ideas. So hopefully you can come up with an idea for yourself, maybe. I don't. So choose one you like. What I would do is either get it. One thing again, this program is working with fonts, and if you want to reduce font problems, I would convert the text to an object. So if I'm using Illustrator like we are in all these programs, I would say, oh, I love this one right here. And of course, it's using some crazy font called Code Bold, which is probably not a good font that most people have. So if I was going to share this or work with this on a different computer, I would take that logo right there and I would convert it to an object. Inside of Illustrator, to convert it to an object, we go under Type, and we can say Create Outlines, and now it's an object. I can copy and paste from Illustrator to InDesign, but what might be better is actually saving it as its own art, so I have it for future reference and so on. Because one of the things about InDesign is it's another program that makes a reference to the original one. It's a linking program, just like CSS and HTML, right? You put an image on a website, it's a link to that original image. If you want to make a change, you go back to the original image, you change that, boom, it's changed automatically on your website. So you want to kind of follow that flow there. And so importing things into a program that makes links like that is better so that you can adjust things later, right? So if I was going to save this, of course I could copy this logo I made, copy it, make a new page, make sure it has the same color stuff, hit create, paste it. Then I would shrink my artboard down to the size of the art here. To shrink my artboard down to the size of the art, I go underneath Object, Artboard, Fit to selected art is fine, and it shrinks the artboard down, so I'm saving my logo just as it is without all that extra white space around we have. So I'm going to save that, and you can use Illustrator. You want to use Illustrator in InDesign because it's vector. And I think I have a box on there. So I have it in Illustrator now. So to bring it into InDesign, again, I'm going to go and double click on the master right here, which goes into the master mode. You can see it says master down here at the bottom in the lower corner, which means I'm going to make the changes in the master and it'll be on all the pages. I'm going to put my logo maybe in the upper corner over here. So if I was going to put it in there, I would place it in there just like I would inside of Illustrator. I would use the place option. So under File, Place, I can bring my logo that I just made in, if I can find it. And you can bring it in, and I just clicked and it brought it in. Remember, you can't really scale. If I try and scale it, look what it just did. Right? Remember I warned you about that? So if you try and scale this to be smaller, if you're scaling something in this program, you need to use the transform tool here. Now I can change the size of my image and it will change the same. So it's a little bit different. I know you're used to using the selection tool in Illustrator to scale something. So let's say I want to put this in my upper corner. There it is. It's going to be on each of my pages. I might even make it smaller. It doesn't need to be so dominant, but it's just going to be my logo kind of, thing. Again, using the transform tool to scale. And maybe I will put it in the upper right corner. I don't know. I'm going to scale it up there. If you want to add some graphics that are going to be on every page, you can add some graphics. If you want a line, let's say, you want the line under there, you can do that, and so on. Maybe I want something that looks like that. It's kind of like my header of my my letter, right? My letterhead, right? If I'm a business, I have a letterhead, right? It's kind of like that. The other thing that's nice about this program is I'm going to put my copyright info at the bottom and a page number on the side over here. To do that, it's just kind of like Microsoft Word, right? But in this case, for the copyright info, I'm going to just use a box of type. There's a type tool right there, and I can draw a box for some type. The copyright symbol is 0169, but of course I don't have the keyboard on my laptop. The num key. So you might need to go and steal from the internet. Does anybody know what the copyright? I'm sure I could go into the where is it? I'm sure I could go in and just steal it somewhere. Do you see it anywhere?
Try hold option and hit G.
Option G?
Yeah.
Option G? Beautiful, thank you. And then put your name and then your year. Okay, copyright symbol, name, and year is what you should put on your pages. That way, if somebody steals your idea, you can say, hey, it was on there at least. If you want to copyright your stuff, and remember, you need to send it to the copyright website and pay how much for one work or a single work? $35. You to copyright and do it as a group of things and call it a series.
Does that work with the whole when you mail yourself something?
Yeah, don't do that. That's no good. There's no mail yourself something, no. So there again, you can do that. Again, you can change font. If right now it has a default font, you got font option here, and you can choose font. Use my sample. Uh-oh, that didn't work. Was it option G?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I didn't like that in this font. Maybe it depends on the font. Yeah, I'm just gonna steal this one. Nope, that didn't work either. Nothing's working. Nothing. Whoosh. Okay. How about if I just not use this font at all? How about that? Doesn't like that at all. Code base. How about we change to a simple font? There we go. Simple font. Okay, so in it, oh, you know what? The copyright symbol is built into the program. Now I remember. If you don't know what the copyright symbol is, you can insert it by going under Type, Special Characters, Symbols, Copyright symbol right there. Boom. There it is. Okay, so it was under Type, Special Character, because that's what I'm going to do for the page numbering. For the page numbering in this program. To do the page numbering, I'm going to put page numbering over here on the side over here. So I'm going to duplicate this text just like in Illustrator or any other application. You can use the option click and drag. Then I'm going to make sure the text is aligned to the right if you want. So we can align the text to the right. If I can find the pop-up window here. No. Where's my line? Oh, here it is. Paragraph option. And we got a line to the right. And then to put in the page numbering, I'm going to delete all that, and it's going to be a special character. It's actually, again, underneath Type, Special Character, and you have page numbering under here, current page number right there. So it's under Type, Insert Special Character, Current Page Number, and it'll put it in there. It's A because it's in the, I believe, in the master we're doing this, right? That's why it's A. It's not an actual page, right? We're not actually working in a page. We're working in the master. So even though I put A in there, the reason why I put A in there, I believe, is because it's the master that we're doing. So here's my master. If you want, again, you can put colors in there if you want. Maybe your design, you actually have a color background. We could do that real quick where we put a rectangle in there. Don't know if you could do the whole background without putting a rectangle in there. So I'm just going to put a rectangle in there, and just like you would inside of Illustrator, you have a fill and a stroke. I can turn off my stroke and give my fill is black now, but I can give it a gradient if I want. Using the gradient option right here. There is a gradient option just like you would inside of Illustrator. There is a gradient option, and then you can change and adjust your gradient. If I could find my gradient pop-up window, there is a way to adjust gradient somehow. And so maybe I want a slight gradient for my design. If I could change my color here. Bring up my color options. I just need a light color. Whatever. No, can't. Not very easy, is it? No, not that. I don't want that. I want my gradient back. Well, whatever. We don't have to deal with a gradient if you don't want to. So, again, there is a gradient pop-up window here. I wanted it to be a slight gradient. I can't get it to change the color. So used to using can I change that? Okay, whatever. Let's move on. I can't get a gradient to work. There we go. So let's say this is my template. It's in my master. Again, I have my logo at the top. I have my copyright info. I have my page number at the bottom. To start making pages in here after I've made my template, of course, you do have a page window here. And you can click on your first page right here. And this is my number 1 page. If I want to make a second page, I can just click and make a second page, and so on. You'll notice it has 2 pages now, 1 and 2. They have the same content because all that content was from the master. If I want to make a third page, I could click on that and makes a third page. If I want to make a blank page, let's say it's the title page, and in the title page I don't want to have the template, right? Do I want to deviate from the template, right? Because a lot of the titles that you would do in some kind of proposal or a PowerPoint presentation, right? The title slide or title page is different. You can deviate from the master by putting a blank page in there where it says none right here. See, no, not none. There is a way to do that. Let's see. Insert blank page. There used to be one that says insert blank page, and they seem to have changed that. And I it used to be insert blank page, new master, apply master to page, override all master items. Maybe that's the one. No, that didn't work. I'll have to think about that. There used to be a way to add a blank page. Save master, load master, hide master, remove all local overrides. No, none. There it is. Okay, so I figured it out. So here I want to insert a page that doesn't have the master stuff. I'm going to say insert page right here where it says insert page, right here, insert page. And it's going to ask me where I want this page to be. I'm going to say before page 1, which would be the title, right? Before page 1. And then where it says master, I'm going to say none, which means it's not going to have any of the templating that the thing has. And then I hit OK, and I get a blank page at the beginning, right? So here's my blank page at the beginning. So this is where I could make my title for my proposal, where I could insert my logo again if I want by using the place option again, using the same new logo that I got, and I can place it on the screen. And then, so if that's my title page, I can put my logo on there. Maybe the name of my app. Let me get that going here. Hold on, I have to get it out of Sketch. So let me see if I can copy and paste from Sketch. So I copied and pasted from Sketch. That seemed to work. Uh-oh, remember not to scale that way. How do we scale? Transform tool. Okay. And then we could put text on there. So if we want to write a little paragraph of text in my in my blank title page here. You could use the text tool just like you would use the text tool inside of Illustrator. You can draw a box of text, and you can then write whatever you want, and it'll conform to the box. And this is a app design proposal for the left over for all food app. Then maybe I put the date in there. What is the date today? November 30th, 2017. Presented by Vasov. Then we can highlight all that. We can change the font. Again, you got all the stuff that you have inside of Illustrator. You got your fonts. You got your size. We can align the text to the center, and so on. That's because you got facing pages on. Remember the facing pages at the beginning? To turn off facing pages, I think is maybe under layout and pages. Let's see how to turn off facing pages. Yeah, if you see the two pages in the pages pop-up window, it means you have facing pages turned on. To turn off facing pages, it's probably in this window here somewhere. That was under, where was I at? Layout, pages, where was I at? Page spread? Maybe here. Oh yeah, print, I don't know. So again, you can see you can deviate. Again, deviating from the template was a way that you can go about it. Then, of course, you have your template down here. And so then, if you want, you can give yourself an overview like this. And so here's what I would do. Instead of making pages, and I'm going to actually go and remove some of these pages. I'm going to remove these, number 2 and number 3. Okay, and I'm just going to work with number 2 right now, which has the template. And the reason why is what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my subtitle, right? My subtitle would be proposal overview or just overview. Then I'm going to, and it's going to have a specific font size and all that stuff. And then I'm going to make a paragraph of text. Then I'm going to make another graphic in there. And then I'm going to duplicate the page. That way I don't have to keep putting new text on every time. So here's what I'm talking about here. So if I use the text tool, I'm going to say, okay, this is going to be the overview. So I'm going to give myself a box here. I'm going to type in overview like that. Maybe change the font and size. So I'm going to go to my character option. Now you can save characters, like I said. If I want, I can save a character set and so on, so I don't have to keep choosing font and that. So let's go with Menlo here, and let's change the size to bold, and then let's make it big. Oop, that didn't work. No. Oh, that's line spacing. Where's my size? Oh, here's size. There we go. Let me make it just. That's pretty big right there. Ooh, that's big. So let's say I have an overview there, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to write a paragraph of text for the overview of my project. And so we write a paragraph of text. Whatever, I'm just randomly writing this. Then maybe I have some graphics. If I want to import a image, I can go under File, Place again, and I might have some interface examples that I've downloaded. If I can Don't do that. When I said file place, I had the text box still selected, right? The problem with that is it thinks I want to put the photo in the text box. So if you're going to bring a picture in, let's say a photo or something, oh, I didn't want to do that. You can, I'm going to make this text box a little smaller. I can then make sure nothing's selected. Now if I go under File, Place, I can then place my picture in there and draw a box, and it'll place it in there. That's one way to bring an image in, right? That's one way to bring an image in. What if I wanted to have, let's say, 3 images that go across and I want them all to be the same size, right? Maybe I have a bunch of layouts. I'm doing the research section of my proposal and I want to have 3 boxes with all my little research in it, and I want them to all be the same size. That's where you would actually don't use File Place. You would use your frame tool. Remember my rectangle frame tool here, where I can make a frame. Any square, rectangle you want. Then I can duplicate that frame. Maybe something like that. Whatever you think. Something like that. And it's not quite perfect, but whatever. So I bring in a frame. Then I would go and use File, Place to put the image into that frame, and it will conform to that frame. Notice though the size of the image doesn't fit in there. It's scaled it because the original image is bigger than the frame. So you can then go and tell the image to be forced to the frame size. To do that, I believe I have to think about this for a moment. I know it's a way to force it to be in there to be the same size. It's under Object. Fitting, fill frame proportionally, fit content. Of course, if you fit content, it'll scale it, and it might be a little squished. If you want to do it by hand, you would then use the frame tool here, and I think you can scale it. I don't know, there is a way to scale it by hand. But again, to do it for the computer, to do it, it's underneath, where was I, Object, Fitting, and you say fill frame proportionally, and it'll put it in there. So again, here's this one. I would then go and place my images in there. Here's another screen graphic, and then of course it's under Object, Fitting, fill frame proportionally, boom, fits it in there. And same with this one. Again, I could place some of my research in there, and then I don't know if I have DoorDash. Oh, Moochery. Oh, that one kind of fit in there, didn't it? Somewhat. Object, what was it? Fitting, fill frame proportionally. There it is. Okay. So again, you would use that instead of just placing an image in. You would make the frame first, and then you could place that in there. So just like I said, instead of making new pages by using new pages, I'm going to duplicate this page because it already has my overview there, has my paragraph of text with the font I want to use, might have some things already placed where I want them. So if I was going to make the second page, I would right-click on the actual page in the pop-up pages window here and say duplicate spread, I guess. And it makes my second page, and then of course this, instead of being overview, this is going to be what? Research or whatever section you're doing, and you can change your text and you can move your stuff around or whatever you want. And so you have a second page and then a third page. So it's easier to duplicate a page than it is to make new pages every time. I mean, that's a lot of work, and plus you already have the text where you want it to be and so on. So think about making a template and organizing. And so this program's not that hard. It's kind of like Illustrator. Many of you have already used Illustrator. You can have text that wraps from page to page if you want. So if you have text that flows from one to the other, you can do that just like you can in Illustrator and so on. But this is a great tool that you can use to make a proposal because you know, the resolution is going to be, you know, the resolution is limited to whatever I put this in, right? If this was 300 dpi originally, it's still going to be 300 dpi here. When I print it out, it's going to be sharp and clean. Whereas in other programs, it's not.
A lot of software that does a lot of the same stuff, so it's really figuring out what does what best. Right?
Yeah, it's took me a long time to learn InDesign. It's not the easiest program, but it's very useful. And once you learn Illustrator, a lot of the things are the same. I can't get the gradient to work, though. The gradient doesn't work the same. Gradients inside of Illustrator suck. I don't like the way that they work, gradients. And then the gradients here don't work very well. So, you know, I guess Adobe's discouraging you from using gradients. I don't know.
So what's your workflow then usually? I guess do you just make all your icons and major images or graphics in Illustrator first and you cut them up in Photoshop and then you import everything into?
No, I would go straight from Illustrator to this program. Remember, an Illustrator file can go in here, and you want to keep it vector. It keeps everything vector. If you make something vector, you keep it vector. I wouldn't go into Photoshop. So let me save this. Again, you could save it as an InDesign document. This is going to be my food app proposal. Then, caps lock's on. Then, if I was going to make this into a PDF, which this program does very good at making PDFs, you go under File. You can do the Adobe PDF preset, and if it's something I'm going to print, I kind of use the high quality print one right here. So again, under File, Adobe PDF presets, and I use the high quality preset right there, and it'll make a PDF right there for you. It has all the PDF options inside here, the same ones you have inside of Illustrator. You got compression options and all these things. You can make it security where they have to have a password to open it, right, and so on. But if you just use the general one, you hit OK, it'll make a nice PDF, and it'll even show you what it looks like inside of Acrobat. As you can see, it's here in Acrobat now, and you'll see my template. It's real nice. I got my page number, right, is right down there. I got my copyright info right there. So you have your page numbering going, and so on. So, you know, you see how nice, crisp, and clean. It's sharp. You know, so think of putting everything you've done design-wise into some kind of proposal. You know, you're trying to show somebody that you know how to go through the design process. Is what, you know, the whole purpose of this is say, hey, you know, I know how to go and plan, research, and give a sample design